I used to ignore a harmless little warning light because the car felt normal. Months later, the bill wasn't. That's when I learned the truth. 7 subtle habits were quietly punishing the parts I never see: fluid pumps, seals, and drivetrain components, until they finally cried, "Uncle." In this video, I'm walking you through those 7 moves you do automatically, why they quietly add up to catastrophic failure, and the simple changes that buy you thousands of miles and real fuel savings. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1. The gear stick habit that eats your transmission. Your hand rests on the shifter for comfort. The car feels smooth. What could it hurt? That little lean sends force down the shift rail. Inside, the selector fork and synchronizers are designed for quick, precise contact, not a steady side load. Keep that pressure there, and the fork's pads wear, alignment drifts, and shifts start to feel gritty. Here's how it snowballs. Even a light touch can preload the fork, so the brass synchro rings rub more than they should. Over time, you get notchier shifts, a balk sliding into second on cold mornings, and the occasional grind when you rush a change. Many manuals warn against resting your hand on the gear stick for this exact reason, and the RAC cautions that it cuts transmission life. Modern shifters use cables or linkages, but they don't fully isolate the internal parts. Force still travels inside. Number 2. Downhill. Brake fade starts long before smoke. You rest your foot lightly on the pedal down a long hill. Speed holds steady. No drama, until heat stacks up where you can't see it. Constant friction turns movement into heat that soaks rotors, pads, and fluid. As temperature climbs, fluid can boil and form vapor. Vapor compresses, so the pedal goes longer and softer, and stopping power fades fast. Pad type matters. Semi-metallic compounds handle abuse, but build heat and fade sooner than ceramics, which keep bite at higher temperatures. Fluid condition matters even more. Dot 3 and Dot 4 lose boiling point as they absorb moisture over time, which is why fresh fluid makes a real difference. Ride the pedal long enough, and you also cook wheel bearings, thinning grease until it fails. And you stress caliper seals that can warp or seize. The fix is technique, not heroics. Select a lower gear before the grade and keep revs within a safe range. Let compression carry most of the load. Then use short, firm pedal presses to trim speed, rather than a constant light touch that never lets components cool. That rhythm keeps rotors cooler, prevents fluid boil, and preserves bite at the bottom. Heat kills brakes. Starvation kills pumps. Let's talk about running on near empty. Number 3. The low fuel habit that scorches your fuel pump. You nurse the tank to the warning light to save time on fill-ups. The car still runs fine, so you keep rolling. Hidden from view, the in-tank electric pump is counting on that fuel to cool and lubricate its motor. Run near empty, and the pump runs hotter. The brushes and bearings see more friction, and heat has nowhere to go. Here's what starts the slide. With low fuel, the pickup can gulp air during hard turns, hills, or quick launches. That creates cavitation, tiny bubbles that collapse and chew at the impeller while spiking local heat. The motor windings and seals take the abuse. At the same time, the pump is more likely to pull settled debris from the tank bottom. Filters load up, injectors get restricted, and the pump has to work harder, drawing more current just to keep pressure. Pros often advise staying above a quarter tank to keep the pump submerged and stable. It's cheap insurance against a roadside stall and a tow. A replacement can run a few $100s to over $1,000 with labor, depending on access. Keep the gauge above 1/4, and you give the pump a cooling blanket, smoother fuel delivery, and quieter, longer life. Starving the pump is invisible, so is twisting your steering while stopped, until things crunch. Number 4. Dry steering. The silent killer of racks and tires. You crank the wheel to squeeze into a tight spot while stationary. No squeal, no grind. Seems harmless. But when the car isn't rolling, the front tires twist against the pavement instead of rolling over it. That creates maximum friction at the contact patch, scrubbing tread blocks and feathering the edges. The steering system feels that resistance too. Dry steering piles sideload into tie rod ends, ball joints, and the rack. The power steering pump answers with a pressure spike to force movement, which heats the fluid and hammers seals. Do it often, and you'll start to see weeping at the rack's end seals, a faint groan on hot days, or a pump that gets noisy after tight parking. That constant strain also degrades fluid faster, turning it darker and thinner, which only makes wear worse. Manufacturers advise rolling slightly as you steer to cut the load. Even an inch of movement lets the tread walk instead of scrape. Ignore it, and you'll chase alignment drift and uneven wear patterns, feathering, inside edge wear, or cupping, then wonder why the car wanders and the tires howl at highway speed. Let the car creep before turning. Components relax, tires wear evenly, and the steering stays tight. If we ignore mechanical strain we can't feel, we also ignore glowing reminders we can see. Number 5. The harmless warning light that starts a countdown. A small amber light flickers on. The car feels normal, so you keep driving and plan to check it later. That delay is where costs grow. Some lights are soft reminders, like washer fluid or a bulb. Others are early alarms for misfires that wash cylinder walls with fuel, oil pressure drops that starve bearings, or ABS faults that quietly add feet to your stopping distance. Know the colors. Red or flashing means stop now. Amber means schedule soon. The RAC advises drivers to consult the manual and pull over for critical warnings. Ignore a misfire, and the catalytic converter can overheat and melt. Keep rolling with low oil pressure, and you risk scarring crank or cam journals, which often turns into a full engine repair. Lose power steering assist, and a simple maneuver can become a hazard. Some systems protect themselves with limp mode, cutting power to prevent damage. Others keep operating while parts wear out in the background. Acting early saves money. Catching a misfire with a scan tool and a coil replacement beats a 4-figure exhaust repair. Addressing oil pressure now is cheaper than rebuilding an engine. Scan promptly, act on red warnings, schedule amber checks. Fixing small problems early is smart. So is feeding your engine the right lifeblood. Number 6. Oil mistakes that quietly shred bearings. You stretch oil changes or grab a bottle that looks close enough. The engine still sounds normal, so you don't worry. That's the trap. Viscosity and specification aren't suggestions. Too thin at operating temp, and the oil film shears under load. Too thick when cold and it can't flow fast, so bearings and cam journals touch. VVT actuators rely on clean, correct oil to move precisely. Wrong spec and they stick, timing drifts, and idle gets rough. Here's where research lines up with real-world failures. Modern GDI and turbo engines need oils meeting Dexos, VW, MB, or ACEA specs to reduce LSPI events that can break pistons. The additive package matters as much as the grade. Extended intervals without lab testing let detergents max out. TBN drops, tan rises, and acids start attacking seals. Sludge forms in hot zones, starving tiny oil passages to turbos and VVT. Lugging in high gear at low RPM stacks, cylinder pressures and hammers thin oil films, especially when the oil is old. Number 7. Slamming closures. Structural stress you can hear later. You shut the door, trunk, or hood with force because it feels solid. That jolt travels straight into the latch and the surrounding structure. Do it often, and the striker can deform a hair at a time. Window regulator tracks loosen, and the rubber weather seals lose elasticity. The result doesn't show up right away. It creeps in as rattles, new wind noise, or a damp carpet after rain. Inside the door, that slam shakes the door module and the regulator's guides. The glass starts to chatter or bind, then the motor strains and fails. Out back, trunk slams can nudge the latch out of true, so the lid sits slightly high on one side. Now the reverse camera angle shifts, the trunk light wiring chafes, and you chase leaks that soak the spare well. Up front, hood slams can bruise the latch catch or even tweak the radiator support over time, leading to panel misalignment and whistle at highway speed.